to meet the daughter then?
Yeah.
Well, do you want to meet the daughter?
Well, I'm going to have to meet the daughter, right, if we're going to be together and make this work and stuff. So
I would meeting the daughter is a big deal, especially because, like, you're going to meet her, and then if you guys break up, then you're going to be gone, and now she's a part of the whole thing. Meet the daughter. Are you sure you're not just saying things to make her happy?
No. Why? No, I'm honest. I tell the truth. What do you want me to tell you?
John. Johnny, here comes Johnny. Okay, sorry. All right, so here's the thing. He's about to meet Meghan's daughter for the first time. These two, I believe this is what their second, maybe third time of actually meeting, and he's now going to meet her daughter. If I was him, I would have taken his brother's advice and I would have never met the daughter. And to be fair, it's a good question. Is he just saying certain things just to please Meghan? I mean, for me personally, I'm trying to figure out what John really wants. John is telling us that he wants a relationship. He's telling us that he's ready to settle down. He's telling us that he's ready for a family life. But you know, sometimes people can tell you these things, but then once they put in that position, it doesn't mean they're going to stick in it. Because here's the thing. You may want certain things, but wanting it isn't good enough. You need to know if you're ready to go through every single struggle possible and fight for every single struggle that's going to come. Because if you're not ready to fight for all the challenge that's going to come of being with a woman for one, as well as also being a woman with a child, well, then you're not ready. Because what the worst thing could happen would be if John is treating this like a test. If he's like, well, I feel like I'm ready for somebody, so I'm going to test the waters and see if I can actually be ready for someone. Because if that is the situation, oh boy, that he's playing with fire. More because there's a child involved. But listen, before we continue though into more of this, please do subscribe. We are on that road to 50K, and I know that some of you guys are always watching the video, but don't come back, but don't subscribe. But you're always here all the time. Subscribe because you're here for a reason. Come on now, and like the video. But with that being said, though, let's dive into a little bit more of what went down with John and Meghan, and also Meghan's daughter.
She is actually on the spectrum, high functioning, on the autism spectrum.
When are you gonna put your trailers together, baby?
Like, she's not speaking yet. Being a single mother as it is super challenging. So being a mother with a child with special needs is that much more challenging.
Now, here's the thing. You know, it's one thing to want to be with somebody and to want to try and actually be in a serious relationship, you know, and play happy family. But then it's another thing to be with somebody that already has a child, of course, you know, because you're now walking into a child's life, and if you're not going to be completely committed and you walk away from that relationship, well, then that child is going to be, that child may start to experience abandonment issues, especially if that child already doesn't even have their own father in their life. I don't know if the father is in her life, but let's just say maybe she's not. That's already a reflex anyway of abandonment issues, right? But if you come in there and you're there for a month, 2 months, maybe even a year, and then you leave, that child is going to suffer. Because they'd be so used to someone coming in and out, it's not good. Now, I'm not saying that somebody should just stay with someone just because they've got a child. No, I'm just saying that in this situation here or any other situation like this, if you're going to go into a situation with a woman who's got a child, be ready to actually be there all the time. Be ready to not only be a husband material, but to also be a father material. But now we're also with someone who's got a child that is also on the spectrum, a child that is now non-verbal, which means that, you know, it's probably going to require more of your time, give or take, depending on how independent the child is, which she probably isn't right now because she's still quite young. So that means her child is probably going to be quite hands-on. So John really needs to think about these things. And for me personally, if I was in this position, I would start to do as much research as possible on how, you know, I can be around a child or how I can help raise a child that is on the spectrum. You see what I'm saying? At least have a foundation of a background, not go out there and like learn everything, because not everyone on the spectrum responds the same. Do you know what I mean? Like if anybody that's got a child on the spectrum, or anybody like me that's worked with kids on the spectrum, you will know that it differs depending on the child. You see what I'm saying? Okay. For me personally, I've worked with a lot of kids that have been on the spectrum and have been non-verbal, so I have my own experience in it. So for me personally, I'll be fine in this situation, really and truly. Do you know what I mean? In fact, I'll probably be better in a situation with a child that's non-verbal rather than a child that is verbal, to be honest with you, that's on the spectrum. Yeah. But hey, that's subjective. Either way, though, John has to really think about these things, because if he's just saying these things just to make her happy, just like the brother said, Patrick, well, then this isn't going to be going in the right direction. And honestly, just because the child's on the spectrum, it doesn't mean that she's not going to realize when somebody comes in her life and leaves her life. She's going to be very, very aware. But let's continue.
But
I've never dated someone with a child, and you're going to be an influence in their lives. So you want to make sure you're a positive one, you know?
I'm looking for someone who could be a father figure. Like I have to, you know, that's just something that comes hand in hand when you have a child.
let's talk about Meghan though. I'm concerned. I'm concerned why she is in such a rush to have John move down there and be with her and her child. Okay, yes, she says that she wants a father figure, but how does she know that he's going to be a father figure? She barely even knows the guy. She's literally seen him, what, 2-3 times now? And do you know what I mean? Like, she hasn't even like spent that much long with him. Yeah, she spoke to him, but how does she even know that he's going to be great with her child? I actually question that she rushed the process of introducing her child to John. I don't understand that. I don't respect that. That is problematic. But I do wonder how many times has she done this beforehand. And the fact that she's so forceful that John must relocate immediately, he must move in with her immediately, he must do all these things, that is concerning. And the fact that John is literally along for this ride is also concerning. I just feel like this situation right now with John and Meghan, it screams red flags on both fronts. Red flags on her side because she's rushed him to see her daughter, and she's also trying to rush him to move to wherever she lives to be with her and live with her straight off the bat, even though she hasn't really spent like that much quality time with him. Because let's be real, the only quality time that they've spent together for the most part has literally been in the bedroom, and that's something that John said literally in the first episode. So the fact that she hasn't really gone out and like done little maybe day trips with him or maybe done certain things with him is wild to me. So why is she such in a rush? Not healthy. And then we've got John. John's somebody who's fully convinced right now that he wants to be with somebody and start a family. And have that family life. It's one thing that John may not necessarily want kids, but it's a whole other ball game that he doesn't know what he's getting himself into. So like I said before, I recommend that he starts to do a little bit of research. But Meghan, most importantly, she needs to slow the F freaking down, because this behavior by her, because the way I look at it right now, I could be wrong, easily wrong, but based on her actions, if John was to walk away within a week, 2 weeks, a month, you know what? I wouldn't even be mad at him. I'll be more mad at her because she's the one that's rushed the process. You know what I'm saying? Because really and truly, she should be like, oh, we got to take our time. But she's not. Some people in this world are very funky. The way they work is interesting. But I do wonder though, if she believes, there are some women in this world, some women, okay, that literally believe that as long as they give the man the goods, the man's going to stick around. And the fact that their relationship has predominantly been dominated by intimacy so far, I do wonder if that's been her tool this whole time to try and get him to want to be with her. Because the funny thing about it is that I haven't necessarily heard her talk about, oh, I really want him to be with him because I want us to be in love, or I'm in love, or I have strong feelings with him. Most thing that she said is, I just want someone to come in and be a father figure. So what the frick is her agenda? You guys let me know what you're thinking. Because this one right here, they are both playing fire, but Meghan's definitely playing fire way much more if you ask me. Because she's got someone in life that can get hurt long term. But hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.